Hi, Terry here. Welcome to another Times Gone Tech video. If you recall, a while back I did a video introducing my 1738 Heavy Dragoon 62 caliber pistol that I bought from a company called Veteran Arms LLC based in Georgia, who in turn imported it from India. If you're interested in military issue black powder weapons, accoutrements, supplies, things like that, from the maybe early 19th, 18th century back, they're a good source to consider. So you might want to look them up, Veteran Arms. Now it is made in India, but don't let that discourage you because remember, historically, the British Empire in the 18th century surrounded the entire globe. And while many products were made in Britain, a lot of other products were made in countries like India, among others. Not much was being shipped out of the Americas at that time, except maybe tobacco and timber, maybe rice in the southern colonies. So, well, this particular model back in the day was actually made in several different factories in Britain. It wasn't unusual at all to see products on the shelves in Britain and even in the Americas made in India. And in fact, they were considered quite exotic and very popular. You also notice how rough and ready the overall finish is, or as I like to call it, minimalist. That's because this isn't just poor workmanship. This is actually historically accurate as well. When issuing contracts for military weapons, the British military, for financial reasons, placed emphasis on fit, form, and function rather than finish, meaning these things were cranked out as quickly as possible and as inexpensively as possible. So while they were practical, durable, reliable, and very deadly, they weren't exactly really pretty to look at. This was a heavy military assault weapon. While today we call this the Heavy Dragoon, its official designation at the time was the British Pattern Heavy Land Service Pistol. There was also a light service pistol and a sea service pistol. The Dragoons themselves, that this is named after, were heavy cavalry units which basically every country in Europe had, some with a little more status and a bigger paycheck than others. But then, just like today, if you wanted to get noticed and get promoted, you had to stand out from the crowd. And that meant dress for success. And any self-respecting dragoon with a few coins in his pocket would have certainly upgraded his kit as much as he could afford, especially his hardware. People were just as proud of their firearms back in the 1700s as they are today. In fact, probably even more so, because if you were lucky, you might get to own one musket and maybe or one pistol in your entire life. So you'd want to put as much flash into it as you could, right? So today I'm going to be starting a series of videos breaking this gun down and refinishing it to bring it up closer to the quality an up-and-coming officer in the British heavy horse abroad might have wanted. But if you're here for my cap and ball revolver videos, don't worry, don't get discouraged. I'm not going to move into the 1700s for the next couple of weeks. Here on YouTube, I'm going to continue with what could be called my core subject matter and provide regular updates on the project overall. Today, for example, I'm just going to get the project started and strip this pistol down and see what needs to be done. But for those who go to my Patreon page and become patrons and sign up for a membership, I'm going to be posting a full series of detailed videos covering the entire project as it progresses from start to finish. So you get updates for free, you get details for a fee. So let's get started. Okay, there are going to be three basic segments or parts to this project, I guess. One is going to be refinishing the wood. The other is going to be working on the steel, which I've got some ideas for, but I haven't quite decided what to do with it yet. And then the third could be called dressing it up, or you know, adding a little more flash to it. That would involve some engraving if I decide to do that. So the first thing I want to do is basically strip this thing down. If you'll notice, the barrel is only held on really with one screw here and then several pins, one here and one here. And then these two pins hold the ram guide on, which I'm going to go ahead and remove. So I'm going to take that off first. Now, this is probably going to be disassembled for a few weeks working on this project, and I don't want any of these little parts to get lost. So I'm going to keep everything inside this plastic box while I'm working on it. This will be off to the side, and as I break it down, that's just where I'll be putting everything. So to get started, I'm just going to push these two pins out from the other side. And I'll just push it through like this to get it started, and then take a pair of pliers. And no, you don't need a pair of pliers this big, it's just what I happen to have on hand. And just pull it out like that. And do the same thing with the other one. And pull that one out. And there are those two. And you can see that, I guess you can see, these really just look like, finish nails that have been cut down to fit. So I'll probably replace them with something a little better quality. When it comes time to put it back together, then we'll take off the screw, and the barrel should lift right out. Like so. And again, into the box. And the barrel then just lifts right up. And you can see here are the little brackets that hold the barrel in. Now, while I'm working on this barrel, well, I'll talk about that later. That goes into the box. Now I'm going to take off the lock plate, and that's held in with these two screws on the other side. So we're just going to loosen that up. There's one. And there's two. And this then should lift out. Just like that in one piece. Now I'm going to keep this in one piece for now, but I am going to eventually strip all this down, polish it up really good, and then who knows, haven't decided yet how to finish it. Into the box. Okay, next, and I actually haven't stripped this thing down before. I'm not really sure exactly how to go about taking some of it apart. But let's see here. Let's take these ram guides out. I'll just tap the pins out from the other side. There's one. Do the other one. That's got it. And now it's just enough where I can get a hold of it. Pull it out. And pull that one out. And then these guides just slip off. Just like so. And those go into the box. Next, let's take off this trigger guard. See what's in there. And that should lift off very easily. I got two pins here. I'm not really sure. It's this and this. So let's go ahead and take those out. Those are pretty sturdy pins. They could be holding the assembly together. Okay. There's that one. Which again, that's just a nail. Someone just cut a nail off and used it. But hey, if it works, right? Into the box. We'll do the other one now. It looks like it's a little smaller. I may have to replace these with slightly larger pins, but I don't see that as a problem. Pull that out into the box. Yeah, it was helping hold this on. There's another pin right here, which is probably helping too. So I'll push that one out. I wondered what that pin was for. And we'll pull that one out. And there it is. And everything just comes out. And that's really all there is to it. This fits in like so. This goes in here. This will fit in underneath it. Like so, like that. These nails hold it all together. And that's really all there is to it. Okay, almost there. This needs to come off if I can. Again, I'm not really sure how hard that's been pressed in. Don't want to damage it trying to take it out. There we go. Okay, and then that just fits in there, and I'm going to work that down so it fits a little better, little nicer finish on that. So there's that piece into the box. Now the last piece to take off is this butt plate. That's a nice long old wood screw. And that just slides off, and that's just a single piece of cast brass. And we'll work on doing something with that, but adding a little more flash to that. And that goes into the box. And there it is. This part here, I think I'm going to leave that in. That was clearly just pressed in. And I don't really want to damage that trying to take it out. So I'm going to see if I can't work around it. If not, I'll try and take a very thin knife blade and maybe work that out. But that could be glued also, and I really don't want to mess it up trying to get it out. So there it is. That's the stock worked down. And we'll take it from there.